news, we're going to move forward with reparations. And folk that knew me called up and said, wow, your hometown is going to do it. And I said, let's see. Because again, I tell you, I'm about moving beyond the dialogue to what manifests itself. It is an absolute joke. And I don't want to say it too strongly. It's an absolute joke. But our reparations at its heart, it's making up for past wrongs. So you're telling me that if a few individuals get a few dollars as down payment for a home, that rights wrongs of slavery? If I get tossed into a lottery and maybe I get it or maybe I don't, well, that's not how slavery occurred. The last time I checked, we were all in chains. There wasn't a lottery saying you get hooked up today and working in cotton fields. We didn't have a vote in that. So what I'm saying is maybe with the best intentions, right? They said, let's move forward with it. I haven't stayed close enough to know who was involved in coming up with the plan, but let's say it one more time together. It's a joke. It's not reparations. Evanston should be ashamed at where it is today versus what they said at the beginning. And then the community has to stand up and say, sorry, guys, this is not reparations. We appreciate you intended to do something. It's not happening. Let's wipe the slate clean and start again with what reparations means and how it will be enacted in Evanston, because what's happening today is a tragedy. All that good press. Well,
all that good press.
All that good press. And you and I know that's not what reparations is. It's not a lottery. It's not a few of the many. It's not a down payment on a home that most can't afford. That's not reparations. Here's something novel. Ask those who are the descendants of slaves. Pull it together, questionnaire, send it to every individual in Evanston, descendants of slaves, and a few of us that are in Chicago, and ask what they think of what we've done so far. If you're serious about reparations, then ask those who you're looking to right their wrongs, what do they think of what we've done to date, right? You don't wait till the end, then say, what do you think? Along the way, send something out and see if 50%, 60% of the individuals that should be impacted feel that they are being repaired in some way.
You know, I'm at the point, I don't even know that I would trust them to send out something like that, because they sent out a survey prior to, and that survey was so misleading. It forced the residents to have to choose a housing program. It gave them no other option, didn't let them fill in what they want their reparations to be. They had to choose either mortgage or home improvement, no other choices. And I wrote to the city, I emailed to Sheik. I was like, this is misleading. It doesn't even allow you to finish the survey if you don't choose home improvement or mortgage. And she was like, oh, you know, you're right. This is all in an email. And she said, I'll fix that. And I said, don't just fix it. You need to start the whole survey all over again so that people can tell you what they actually want.
Exactly.
what they want for their reparations. They might not want home improvement. And what we're seeing, what I've been hearing in the reparation meetings, I've been listening to them, and people can find it on YouTube. Go get it before it's edited. Uh, is that, as far as the home improvement, the big question is, okay, so you have what they're calling an ancestor, which I don't understand why they're calling it ancestors and they're still living, but they might just want their house painted. They might just want a roof. 25K, if they don't use all of it, then who gets the remaining?
But let me also ask this.
Because they're making sure that all of them are home improved, because you have, most seniors, they're not looking to buy property right now. So that they're like, well, I guess they don't have a choice. They have to take.
But tell me this.
They don't have a choice.
If I'm a renter, I don't deserve reparations?
Exactly. And in those early meetings, they said if you rent, you cannot apply for reparations, but yet you qualified supposedly one renter. Well, then how did that renter get in when you told the masses early on that you will never qualify if you're a renter? And that's wrong. Renters suffered racism.
It's so again, there's some foundational issues as you're describing them. But again, you've gone so far, you're at a point where you can ask those who you're trying to provide reparations to, is this what reparations means to you? Otherwise, you're not serious.
Right. And it's coming across to many as some sort of self-serving opportunity for some. I mean, how are you touring the country to promote and sell this blueprint to be the example of reparations when you don't even know if it works yet? There's so many errors and mistakes.
You're being nicer than you usually are, Melissa, because you're saying we don't even know if it's working. We know it's not working.
It's not working. No, it's not. It's not working. And home improvement for 15 people, because the 16th is a renter, and I guess she just wants furniture. So if you go listen to those reparations meetings, you even have one committee member telling them, and I guess she's worked in the legal industry. She's like, look, you can't just be changing stuff as you go. That's opening up for a lawsuit. I mean, it's already lawsuit just written all over it. But now all of a sudden you're going to get money from Evans Community Foundation. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. You're going to find other ways for people to get some new furniture or whatever. You're not going to use the 25K. The 25K is going to an organization out in Lake County. They're going to disperse the money. The city sends it to CPHA. CPHA disperses the money. The recipients might not even use the 25K. So who gets that remaining? And why are you forcing them to get home improvement? Do they get to pocket the rest and do what they actually want with their reparations? Or does it go back to the city of Evanston or back to CPHA or in some people's pockets? It's to me, and they're calling people who are raising these questions, because a lot of these questions have gone unanswered in many reparations meetings. I had someone ask, who was present at one of the reparations meetings, the meeting before last, who gets the remaining of the recipient's money? No answer. The last one that was just last week, she asked it again. I sent a letter to the city asking the question. No response. No one is answering that question. But yet, they're promoting, oh, we went to DC and da 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 da. Let me tell you, it makes my blood pressure go up. It makes my blood pressure go up.
Which means that really what you're saying is we need a strategy around righting this particular wrong. And what's disappointing is that the program or the initiative to right the wrongs of the past have created new wrongs. I mean, it's how odd, right? How odd. You take something as noble as reparations. We're going to right the wrongs of the past or address, right, uh, issues in a way that we acknowledge our history that was not a good history. So you take something as noble as that, and what it devolved into is this is just not right. But it's up to us to find ways to not just say it's not right, but to be as active as you have been. So we got to figure out a way to figuratively march on Evanston City Hall and say, you've got to do better. Because this is really not the way. At a time when people are more open to reparations, this is not a good model for it. So we need to do something about that.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And you'll hear the argument, well, this isn't about chattel slavery. This is about redlining. Okay, there's not one Black person you can walk by who has not experienced racism or discrimination. Who told you it had to be about housing? That's my question. I have yet to get an answer to that. Who told you it had to be about housing? Who at the City of Evanston said there's no way in hell we will give you cash payments like the Jewish community got or that the Japanese community got? Black people don't deserve that, so think of something else. Okay, well, housing. So now you're excluding the excluded even more so.
That's my point. That's the irony of the way it's been approached, which means Cole is overdue for putting together an article on Evanston's approach to reparations. So I will commit to that as a start. But it's disappointing, and I was so proud of the fact that my hometown has stepped up to do it. But it's been disappointing ever since. Again, saying that of all of the residents of Evanston, these few, I don't get it.
Yes, yes. We were all proud initially. I mean, we were all 100% behind the movement, whatever support Robin Ruth Simmons needed. Everybody, whatever you need, we're there. We had her back 100%. But then it just went left. And one thing I'll always give Robin Ruth Simmons is she opened up a real conversation about reparations to the entire country. That she definitely achieved. She was successful in that because now you've got other places like, well, let's examine this. Let's really, reparations could be real. Now, where it went left, who told the committee there's no way in hell y'all getting cash payments? Figure out something else. Housing. That's one way to divide and make sure that they all don't get something. Housing. Let's do that. So that's the disappointing factor in that somewhere along the line, it was allowed for those voices to come in and divide the community instead of just giving Black people who have lived here for a certain amount of time here in Evanston, give them their reparations.
Well, what's also interesting is if you picked the one thing, and housing is important, but probably the thing that permeates everyone is education, right? I mean, you could have picked that and said, okay, we've got scholarships for everyone who wants to go to college. Money if they want to do trade school. because for our longstanding families, right, we've got generations that are coming up. I mean, it's just, and that's a building block area, right? If you think of education, right, it can lead to so many other things. Housing was an interesting single thing to pick. There are some good ideas on reparations out here. Senator Roland Burris is a member of Cole, and I had a very good, sharp businesswoman, a friend of mine, work with him on plans he had. He's got a really nice reparations plan laid out that something like Evanston could take advantage of. Because here's the thing, let's go back to my vocation, information technology. When you lay out a process, right, you hit decision points in any project and you say, is it, right, worth continuing? Should we go this way, go that way? All along the way, we should be asking ourselves in Evanston as it relates to reparations. Is it something that's working? If not, then you have to go off and figure out something else. And all along the way, you have to do that. And clearly no one's doing that because it started out and it's just kept going. I think we're at a decision point, right? And that decision point is the way in which it's been implemented in Evanston really working and achieving its goal. And if it's not, something needs to be done differently. And I would bet you any logical group of individuals, not self-serving, would look at this decision point and say it's not, right? With the best intentions, it's not. So let's do something different. That's not a bad thing, right? It's a smart thing to do. We've got a project, we've reached the point, and the question is it working? Are we achieving our goal? And if you're not, then make an adjustment. And adjustment needs to be made now.
Yes, but that ego comes into play, like we talked about earlier. This whole interview ties in. That ego comes into play, and it's like, people are like, "Why are you turning reparations into a lottery bingo game?" How
a lottery?
That's insulting. That is insulting.
A lottery.
Yeah, they actually got insulted that people were insulted.
A lottery.
Yes. With the brass spinning wheel and all, with the balls. And I'm like, this is not the vision of reparations for all that we've gone through and still going through. It comes down to pulling of a ping pong ball out of a brass basket that you spin at a bingo game. That was hurtful, but yet they're insulted that we were hurt by that. So it all comes down to ego at this point, instead of, like you said, if our goal is the same, which now we question, are our goals the same anymore? Because at first the goal was reparations, repairing a harm. Well, now it's come down to housing, realtors that personally, they get to benefit. Some quote unquote ancestors get a few repairs on their house, but we don't know what happens to the remaining of that money, who gets it. People are traveling about the country, spreading the news about something you don't even know if it's working yet, but we know it's not really working. And then one of the things—
Are you saying, help me understand this, are you saying that there are individuals traveling the country to discuss Evanston's program?
Yes.
As a model?
As a quote unquote example. As an example. So if HR 40 at all uses Evanston reparations, I think that will be the divide of the Black community for the books, for history. Black people will divide if other cities, because I've heard the voices from other cities like, what the hell are y'all doing? Y'all watering down reparations. They see us as an embarrassment, and they don't want HR 40 at all to resemble Evanston reparations, because it's going to exclude the already excluded. You're going to divide who should get and who shouldn't. And Evanston, come on, we do that. And we'll have some Black leadership that are not for the community, but Evanston doesn't want to call it out. Well, no, you can't call that out in front of white people. You can't do that. You can't do that. But reparations is huge. It's huge.
It's too serious
Yes.
an issue, and it's something that finally hit a threshold of many folk understanding that it's something that is deserved by the descendants of this country's slavery, and so you can't treat it in this manner. So I think, though, at the end of the day, it's up to the community to say this isn't working, and so we just got to rattle a few cages to say, folk, if we got to pen a letter and send it around for everyone to sign, but we've got to at least say it needs to be reconsidered, because this is not what reparations are. And there are a lot of folk that are experienced and have been working on this for years, right? The concept of reparations. And we'll put a panel together of them and have them wade into this program. We're going to come up with something, because as you reminded me, this is my hometown. I was so proud of us for stepping up, but it's devolved into something that's farcical, and we need to do something about that. And you do a good job, though, I would tell you, of raising the red flag on this. Really
Yeah. And I want people to know I didn't come out raising the red flag. I was 100% behind the movement. Whatever you need, Evans Live TV has got your back. But when it started looking funny, I was like, okay, wait a minute, what's really going on here? And too many questions have gone unanswered, too many. And it's like I don't want to put it on Black leadership, because I think it was other leadership that is controlling it. But
well, at the end of the day, though, right? We know it's not reparations, and so it needs to be called out. And the very fact that you exclude whole parts of segments of the population is just not right.
Right, exactly. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Mr. Wimberly. I'm going to work on arguing logically.
Logically.
As long as
it'll keep your blood pressure down.
Oh yes, because people are telling me, Malik, you can't take it in. You can't take it in. You're taking it internal. And I'm like, but I care so much about people in general, but definitely about my community. Most definitely, when I see something ain't looking right, we got to ask questions. If nothing else, ask questions and make sure you get the answers. And there's too many unanswered questions.
And I would tell you also, there are too many examples where things are being done right, where we can say that's a good model, let's apply it. I mean, hats off to Stacey Abrams and the folk in Georgia, right? Because they made Ketanji Jackson Brown a possibility. Think about that. The work in Georgia, registering people to vote, getting them to the polls, led directly to Ketanji Jackson Brown being on the Supreme Court. That's powerful. That means we can make some things happen. And before you let me go, I want to tell uh, your listening ship that Cole has launched is voter registration and engagement drive. Anyone can join us. All right, it's about registering individuals to vote. It's about championing the vote, and that we can make a difference, right? Because we have power through the vote, and that was a good example of it with Ketanji Jackson Brown being confirmed for the Supreme Court. So let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. All right.
Thank
Thank you so much. Thank you, Craig Wimberly on Evanston Live TV. The door is always open to you. Come back, let us know what's next and what Cole has going. How can people get in touch with Cole?
We have, thank you. Our website is coalchicago.com, COAL Chicago.com. And if and my email address for Cole is craig.wimberly@coalchicago.com. Shoot me your email address and I'll add you to our distribution. There's a lot going on. And here's the thing. We need individuals ready to stand up for the community, right? If you've got ideas and you need support for making it happen, come to Cole. We'll work with you. All right.
All right.
Thank you, Ms. Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. Wimberly. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day.
All right. You too. Okay. This has been Malika, Evanston Live TV. That was Craig Wimberly of Cole. You all be sure to get in touch with Cole. They're doing some awesome things. It's an amazing organization, and have the pleasure of being one of their guest speakers last week. And if you have a movement going on, concerns or anything, you're working on something that is really positive for the community, reach out to Cole. It's a huge organization, absolutely. So you guys stay tuned, stay engaged, ask questions. If you don't even want to get out there and get active, ask questions via email, public comment at City Council. You can write in your public comment. You can email all of the city officials, but get your questions answered, and don't wake up too late. Don't wake up too late. All right. You guys have a great day. Evanston Live TV.